Citizen54, thoughts on Gary Gensler's chat with David Lauer? Looks like they all drove in a Dodge. I have not seen the most recent one. The previous one, Dave didn't challenge Gary Gensler on anything, and I wish he had. I think if you're going to get Gary Gensler in front of you, you need to ask him the questions that everyone wants to ask him. Like, what are you going to do about naked shorting and manipulation of our markets? And are you going to punish these people for destroying the accounts of the average American? Like that's the stuff that he should be focused on. And are you going to petition, Congress to give law enforcement power to the SEC, to up your budget, to actually do your job regulating rather than just slapping people on the wrist? Why are you presenting the ability for all these companies that break the law to get less fines than they're getting now, which are already pathetic, right? So why is it that you're a regulator, but everything you seem to be doing isn't quite regulating anything? Ask him those questions. Mario Valdez, do you think any stocks will squeeze before the market collapse, or will that be the catalyst for the squeeze? I mean, I don't think we'll get MOAS numbers before a market collapse, unless, a judge happens to rule in Florida, forcing them to close out upwards of a couple billion shares of MMTLP. Do you guys see the accounting done on the failures to deliver for MMTLP, coming out to like 2 billion failures to deliver between MMTLP and Torch? That's a lot. That's a lot of failure to deliver. Hungry Caveman. Hey, Houston. I've heard some saying that for every MMTLP short position, there needs to be a partial share of metamaterial needs to close. I thought it was separate. Thanks. Oh, happy birthday. Ish. Like, when the merger happened, right? Took oil company, tech company, merged them together. Every 2 oil companies became 1 tech company, right? So if you were short on oil company, you are now short 50% on tech company. But oil company also had preferred shares. So you can close out the obligation of the preferred shares without necessarily closing out the obligation on the tech company yet. So if everything comes to a head and tech company ends up being worth $1 kajillion and shorts are way underwater, they are definitely going to have to make up for shorting the oil company that now became tech company. So that's how it happened. JR, what is the next deadline for the Next Bridge hydrocarbons lawsuit? We have to wait for the judge to say something. He's got to make a ruling on the motions that have been filed, and Roza isn't allowed to amend or add any motions until he makes a ruling on the current stuff. So we wait for the judge to do his thing, and judges do their thing at their own time scale. So I don't know when he's going to make his ruling. We just kick back, relax, and either prepare to celebrate or to shake our fists angrily. And those are options. Quiet Quest. How long does Roza judge have to rule? It's up to him. That's their prerogative. There's no set timeline. Just rules when he rules, and that's all we know. So they can sit on it for a long time if they want. I don't know. I have no idea. He made that one ruling denying her emergency injunction really quickly without allowing her to respond to the filings, the incorrect filings from FINRA. Really poorly written incorrect filings from FINRA. He made that ruling without allowing her time to respond, which is weird. But now he seems to be taking his time. So he may have seen Roza's request to review and went, maybe I was too quick with FINRA. Maybe I need to actually explore this stuff more and look into these cases that you outlined. Maybe I should actually read everything that's here. So that might be taking a while. Arto trade. Different QSIPs on Acme to keep the price from exploding if they're forced to trade. Oh, are all the different QSIPs on Acme. Okay, Arto trade. Arto trade? I I don't know. It's interesting. People put together like what brokers have the same QSIPs or similar QSIPs. They've sort of broken them up. Some think it ascribes to sort of these pools. Like, okay, there's 100 million in this. There's 100 million in that. There's 100 million in this. I think it might be more related to who the prime brokers are or who processes trades. Like the ones that do Apex seem to have a lot of similar QSIP numbers. It is curious though. It is strange. Like, why are these brokerages that aren't necessarily related to each other? Why do they have the same QSIP number? Right? Like these are different companies. They have similar parent companies. Why do they choose to have these totally random numbers be exactly the same? It's very, very, very weird. So I don't know. It does lend to the conspiratorial mind of like something's up, right? Like it doesn't seem like these different brokers would all have the same number without, something conspiring in there, right? Right, meow meow? Right. Okay. I am so far behind in the chat. Okay, that's NVIDIA earnings one. That is, okay, that's where we are. All right. Eric, if no solution soon, 65,000 investors have this huge loss to report on their 2022 taxes as opposed to a gain in 2023 where everybody does not know how to file their taxes. Not only that, but there's folks that day traded this stock. They traded MMTLP, right? They, bought it at $1, sold it at 10, bought it back at 3, went to go sell it again and couldn't. And now they owe taxes on, say, $30,000 in profit that they made when they bought it $1 and sold it $10, right? So those folks owe taxes and have no way to pay it because all their money is tied up in a stock that's no longer trading, which is, kind of bullshit if you ask me. Let them close their positions, right? They had every intention to close their positions and they couldn't. And now they owe tax money that they can't pay. Roy Sport asks if FINRA, can they ignore us forever and never address this? They're hoping to. They hope that they will just outlast us and all of us eventually 50 years from now will be dead and they won't have to worry about any of this. That's their entire goal. But the court will make a ruling whether they have to answer us or not. And if the court says, hey, you know what? There's precedent here that can force you to reveal the accounting. And so you are going to have to talk to all the brokers, have them tally up how many claimed shares of MMTLP they have, report back to us those numbers so we can verify them. And if those numbers are greater than 165 million, you are going to have to open up trading to close those positions. That could very well be what the court rules. And if the court does that, then FINRA can't wait. They're going to have to act on it. Because if they don't act on it, then Roza will file one of those, what do they call it? Retain the corpse or whatever, corporal, whatever. Basically say, hey, they didn't do their thing. Arrest the head of FINRA, throw their ass in jail for contempt until they do. Remittent corporal, blah, blah, blah. Can't remember what it's called. So, that's what we could be looking at. Or the judge could be like, screw you guys, I'm not doing anything. And then FINRA gets to wait forever. Or if Roza appeals to Court of Appeals and gets a panel. And the panel goes, you know what, this is kind of weird. There doesn't seem to be precedent here. Go back to the lower court. Lower court, you have to re-rule this. That could happen also.